In this video, I'm going to show you 3 steps that can help you develop a research topic. The first step is that you need to select your interest. The second step is that you need to explore. I'll explain what that means. And the third step is that you need to specify your study. So let me explain all these 3 steps in detail. The first one is that you need to select your interest. What do I mean? Well, you need to look for something or a subject or a topic that interests you. What interests you the most? What do you like talking about? What do you like reading about? For example, are you interested in little babies? Well, you can do research on, say, foods that can help in the development of strong and healthy babies, just an example. But the point is, if you're interested in babies, maybe you can write something related to child development. Or maybe you are interested in something else. Say you are interested in nature. You can write something or do research about how trees can affect rainfall or the weather. You can do research on that. Thing is that you are more likely to spend your time and energy researching on something that you like, that you are interested in, rather than something that you are not interested in. So look for something that interests you. In fact, some of the great works done by great scientists were because they were interested in something. For example, Sir Isaac Newton was interested in mathematics and physics, and that is what led him now to discover the physical laws that held the planets and stars in the universe in place. So be interested in something. When you're interested in something, that will help you now look for a topic that you can do research on. Now, if you are a student, like most of us, then you have to write on a topic that is relevant to your field of study. What are you studying at your college or university? That which you are studying is what now should help you formulate a topic apart from what you're interested in. For example, in my case, I studied economics, so I had to write something economics related, something to do with the economic conditions of the world. So write something related to your field of study. Your lecturers, your supervisors will help you on finding a good topic related to your field of study. Now let's go to the second step. You need to explore. What do I mean? Well, you need to study the background of your topic or subject that you are looking for. You need to do a background study. So to do that background study, you need to read journal articles, read about what other scientific writers have written on that same subject that you want to write about. Read about the methodologies that they also did when they were doing that research. You need to know all that. Now, when you are studying these articles, what should you be looking for? Well, you should be looking for what is known as a research gap. What do I mean by research gap? A research gap is simply what other writers may not have covered in their researches. No research is actually perfect. And obviously, you find a research gap. You find that there are certain things that other writers may not have covered in their researches. Now, that is what now you should focus on. That is a research gap that you should be looking for. What did other writers not talk about that you can talk about? That is what you should be looking for. For example, there are a lot of research papers that have been written on the effects of climate change. You Google them, you find a lot of research papers written on the effects of climate change. But then, are there enough research papers written on the effects of climate change in a certain location, for example? Or maybe in the area where you are? Or are there enough research papers written on the effects of climate change in a certain time period. Are there enough research papers written on that? Or what research methodologies did they use if they did that? And can you use a different research methodology? Or maybe what group did they focus on when they were studying that the effects of climate change? What group did they focus on? Can you use a different group? Or maybe did they study on the effects of climate change, say on some other group, or maybe on a certain tribe, or on a certain group of animals? For example, say you find that little has been written on the effects of climate change on the polar bear habitats, just an example. If you find that no research has been done, or little research has been done on the effects of climate change on polar bear habitats, that can make a good research gap for you, because now you focus on that and you want to talk about that. No little research has been done on that, so you can do research on that. Communicate to your audience now the effects of climate change on polar bear habitats. So you need to look for a research gap and you need to focus on that. That now can help you now have a specific and solid topic. So now we move on to the next step now. Specify your study. What do I mean? Well, it means that you need to specify what you are talking about in your paper. Your audience now should know what you are going to talk about. You have found your research gap. Little research has been done on that area. Now you need to do research on that. So you need to let your audience now know what you are going to talk about concerning that. The aim of your study usually is expressed in your topic. Your topic is what is going to tell the audience now what you are going to talk about. For example, look at this topic: the effect of climate change on coral reefs. This is just an example. The effect of climate change on coral reefs. This is a good topic because talking about the effect that climate change has on coral reefs. So already when your audience sees this topic, they will know that you are going to talk about the effect that climate change has on coral reefs. Climate change has a lot of effects on a lot of things, but now you are giving your topic direction, that now in this paper you're going to talk about the effect that climate change has on coral reefs, and your audience now want to know the effect that climate change has on coral reefs. Moreover, you will not have a huge task of looking for information on the effects of climate change, because you just be focused on the effects that climate change has on coral reefs. There are many effects that climate change has, but now you're just focused on the effects that climate change has on coral reefs. So you have direction. It would be different if you had such a topic as this one, the coronavirus. What are you going to talk about when you have such a topic? We know the coronavirus, it is a virus, but then what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about its effects? Are you going to talk about how to prevent it? Are you going to talk about the impact it has on the world economy or the economy of a certain country? What are you going to talk about concerning the coronavirus? So this topic is just too broad. Even your audience, when they see this, they will not know what you're going to talk about. They might not even be interested in reading, because it's not giving direction. What are you going to talk about? And this topic is just too broad that you also have a huge task of looking for information, because you'll be tempted to look for as much information as you can on the coronavirus, and without direction. So this topic, it's going nowhere, so to speak. It's going nowhere. It has no direction. But let's say you have this one: the effect of the coronavirus pandemic on world trade. Just an example: the effect of the coronavirus pandemic on world trade. This topic is specific. You're talking about the coronavirus pandemic and the effect that it has on world trade. It has a lot of effects. The coronavirus has a lot of effects, but you have given this topic some direction. You are directing your audience to reading the effect that coronavirus pandemic has on world trade. Even you, when you are going to do research, you are not just going to do all the research that you can on the coronavirus pandemic, but you're going to do the research of the effect of coronavirus on just one specific thing, world trade. So this topic is a good one. It has direction, it is specific, so you can you have some limits. You limit your study. Now you have specified your study, but then again, when you're specifying your study, it shouldn't be too specific that again you have too little information to look for. For example, think about this: how the coronavirus can be transmitted from a seller to a buyer. This topic has information, but the information is just too little. You can even maybe write this in 3 paragraphs: how the coronavirus can be transmitted from a seller to a buyer. It's just too specific. Probably you can't even write a scientific paper on this, how the coronavirus can be transmitted from a seller to a buyer, because it's just obvious. Right by now, we all know how the coronavirus can be transmitted from a seller to a buyer. So this topic is just too specific, so you can't write. So again, you have to be moderate when choosing, when specifying your topic. It shouldn't be too broad and it shouldn't be too specific. In fact, it is known that usually when your topic has few sentences, the fewer the sentences in your topic, or the fewer the words in your topic, the more broad it is, and the more the words in your topic, the more specific it is. So your topic has to be in the middle. So these are the 3 steps that I wanted to share with you. First, have your interest. Second, you need to do a background study of what you are going to talk about. You need to explore. And third, you need to specify your study. Limit the scope of your study. Be specific. What are you going to talk about? Let your audience know that. And your topic is what is going to tell the audience what you are going to talk about. So guys, this is just what I wanted to share. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it was helpful.